Hello, hello. This is the Awful and Awesome Entertainment Wrap, episode 387. This is Rajyasree.
And this is Abhinandan Sekri with 11 emails. Some we did not read of last week, so Rajyasree, we have to finish those. And a week where there were a lot of releases, including the release of the people we interviewed in the last Awful and Awesome. And we haven't watched that film yet.
I will watch it.
Congratulations. You should get Gyanpreet Award.
I will watch it because you won't be here to watch it. But
Yes.
I've told Anubhav that I will go and watch it.
So, we'll be reviewing The Royals and a documentary called Flintoff on
Which
cricket.
is on? No.
Then?
It's on the Flintstones.
And it says a documentary offers
Oh,
an
yes.
intimate look at the life and career of Andrew Freddie Flintoff. I don't know why Rajyasree Sen is wanting to review a documentary on cricket. But anyway, you must have a very good reason. I'm dying to hear it. But before we do that, just want to remind you, we take no ads, which is why we can say what we want. We do not have to pander to anyone. We don't have to pander to any advertiser. We don't have to pander to any, corporation. So here's a QR code. Support our journalism. A bunch of subscribers have written this time that they support our journalism, even if it's for this podcast, which is not really news. And little news that comes is often inaccurate, thanks to who. But
Don't talk about yourself in this manner.
I must. So here is the QR code. Please subscribe, pay to keep news free, because on the public page, the public is served. So Rajyasree Sen, before we get into the reviews,
Yes.
you have headlines. We have very good headlines this week.
We have very good headlines this week. In good news, Neeraj Ghewan's Homebound, which stars Ishan Khattar, Vishal Jetwa and Janhvi Kapoor, premiered at Cannes, not Cannes. In better news, the film drew a 9-minute standing ovation from the audience.
But in bad news, it has been produced by Karan Johar, which I guess is good because he's backing good cinema. But I think my problem is that he uses this as an excuse to push his trashy cinema. But again, Rajyasree has corrected me on something she has no clue about. It is Cannes. In fact, listen to a BBC. Okay, why don't you first interrupt me, then I'll start talking again.
I haven't even said a word.
You
Did
were
I
about
say?
to. You were about to.
No, I was putting my hand up.
Okay, fine. Like this, you generally talk like
I
this.
generally talk like this.
So, when I had gone to Cannes for a festival, I asked them there. They said it is Cannes, the residents of Cannes. Then the BBC Bulletin, they've done a special on Cannes, have addressed this because there are many people like you who will either correct it's Cannes, not Cannes, and you said there is no. They say if you are from this area, you will call it Cannes. People from some other parts of France call it Cannes. They also do, but here it is Cannes. Both are correct, but locally we call it Cannes. But what is wrong is Cannes or Cannes. And the link to that BBC podcast is in the show notes below. And you should also listen to
But
that.
in my defense, I'm not from Cannes.
Yeah.
I'm from other parts of
Then
France.
why would you correct me then?
So I say Cannes, so it's not incorrect.
I'm not saying you shouldn't say Cannes. But when I said Cannes,
That's okay. You're
You
always
corrected me.
correct. No, you're always
you
correct.
corrected me. You see the beauty.
You're always correct, I'm saying.
I'm not always correct. I'm
Always.
telling you that what I said was not incorrect. But you insisted on correct. Did I correct you?
Of course you corrected me.
I just told you what the
But
pronunciation
you
is.
corrected me.
Okay, fine. You're right, Rajyasree Sen. Brilliant.
No, I've just said that you're
Genius.
this thing. So since we've started on an argument, we'll carry on now. Do you want to take the next headline?
In good news, Tom Cruise's new Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, broke the franchise's record and became the biggest opener in the MI series.
In better news, Cruise will hopefully stop making any more sequels, given that he's like 85.
Has he won an Academy Award?
For Mission Impossible.
for
now.
anything.
Yeah, born on the 4th of July.
No, he didn't win, no? That was his biggest, this thing that he didn't win for
Then
that.
though he'll carry on making Mission Impossible. Maybe this
I
is
think
how
he
he's
won
acting. I
Lifetime
think he's
Achievement,
won.
right? But we'll just check.
Oh, he's only got nominated many, many times.
He's never won.
In bad news, Hera Pheri 3 is stuck in limbo after Paresh Rawal decided to quit the film.
In good news, that means one less Akshay Kumar film hitting screens. Although Rajyasree Sen, I just want to see how up to date you are with the news on Hera Pheri. Do you know now what the reason that Paresh Rawal's team has cited that he...
Yes.
What?
Because I also read Gurgaon Times, Delhi Times. What appears in Delhi Times appears in Gurgaon Times one day later.
You read the Delhi Times and Gurgaon Times.
No,
Very
I'm
sad.
saying the same
So what
thing.
is the reason?
Because he was not given a script. He kept asking for a script and he was not given a script. He was told, no, the script will come to you. I try. Then he was told to shoot a promo, which he said, I still asked for the script.
In
And
a
I
hurry,
still was not
you
given
shoot.
a script. Then I said, I am doing Katti and I will not make film only.
But there's another technicality. The guy who made Hera Pheri 1, which is, I think,
Priyadarshan.
Sajid Nadiadwala, the producer.
Huh.
He has sent a legal notice or some representation to all of them that he owns the rights to the title and to those characters. So Akshay Kumar cannot produce it. He has the rights. And Parish also said, first you figure out who has the rights.
But part 2 is produced by whom? By Sajid?
See, this much I have not gone
Then
into.
you are.
See, I cannot spend so much time investigating. I think we should put one of our investigative journalists onto Hera Pheri to find out exactly what
We will
would
have
you
a
want us to
detailed NL Sena project.
NL Sena
Sena
project.
yeah.
Crack journalists who have won awards for electoral bonds issues, the how public money is spent by public sector units, such amazing journalism has done. We should put 2 of our finest onto.
Because this will be a test of
Hera
their resolve to work at News Laundry. You always have to have. You can't always have, like, even if you work in any, say, in a PR agency. I used to have 15 fabulous clients, and then I was given a spa in Safdarjung Enclave, and I asked the CEO, I said, why should I do this?
Because for the other 14.
He said, why should you not? I said, this is very traumatic. You know the owner of this
So
spa.
after this, Rajyasree, we'll have an edit meeting.
Yeah.
And I'll request Manisha ma'am and Raman sir
Oh, you're
that
doing
let
this.
Rajyasree Sen oversee this meeting and give the new investigations to the journalists.
I think you should. Because everyone has to do their time. In bad news, Dharma Productions, Dharak 2 was cleared with a UA certificate by CBFC after as many as 16 cuts.
In worse news, these cuts focused on caste-based discrimination through slurs and violence. Now, of course, this is a remake of the Tamil film, Periyerum Perumal. But, this is not given enough time.
What?
We should actually have a discussion on this on Hafta or maybe an Awful and Awesome since why should Awful and Awesome only be frivolous?
I don't think we are frivolous, but a thing to why are you carrying on pissing me off today? It's not a frivolous podcast. It's very serious. There's a seriousness in the frivolity.
Okay, no, I am just saying that, I mean, if you really think about it, this film and the other film where they had said don't mention Savitribai Phule and Jyotibai Phule, is that you cannot mention caste discrimination. I mean, it is like erasing the history, and no mainstream media is discussing it. It is, I think, a very profound problem. It is existential, in fact, as far as our cultural history context is concerned. And yet, we will have debates on XYZ tweeted this, so-and-so tweeted this on prime time. But this, which is so important and so huge.
Why even that other film is not going to be released in India, no? Because of the caste references.
Oh, Santosh, right.
Even Homebound will. So I really don't think Homebound will get released in India because it's based on Basharat Pir's that article, which is about during the lockdown, for all lockdown deniers, like Holocaust deniers. There were these 2 boys who were friends. One is a Muslim boy and one is a Dalit boy. And they started that walk back to go back to their village. And they die. One of them dies. And there was a picture taken where that one friend was cradling the other and trying to put water into his mouth. He didn't realize that he died. He was dying, I think, then. But it is not going to, there is no way that this film is going to be, I will be shocked if it's released in India.
I'll make a note of that, we should do a profile of the CBFC.
Yeah.
Who are these people who actually give certification and cuts? I think that'll be interesting. That should be a story.
And someone had given...
Actually, in the edit meet, you must recommend this.
No, my focus is Hera Pheri.
Okay.
Okay. You do all this. I don't want to do all these boring things like this. I don't.
Right. So, on that note, Rajyasree Sen, I
Yes.
must admit, I haven't seen anything.
This is so shocking to me that I need a moment. But we
absorb
have
the
moved-
shock.
Yeah, but
You're a
we
shock
have moved
absorber.
past, yeah.
And
I'm
for
really a shock absorber.
For best shock absorber, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਟਰੱਕ ਤੇ chassis ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ shock ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ shock absorber Rajyasree. There's also gutka called Rajyasree.
Yes, Abhinandan, you've posted it on Instagram.
Why are you accusing me? It's not my factory. There's
No,
a
you
brand.
posted tagging me.
To
You fool.
Bhopal. Bhai, I landed in Bhopal. Ladies and gentlemen, I landed in Bhopal. Weather outside very 21 degrees. Then I get to the airport. I send a taxi. As I'm leaving, I'm from Delhi, which was horrible AQI. Bhopal, blue skies, lovely
I love
everything.
Bhopal.
And
Why?
then- why?
Because Saif is part of the Bhopal royal family, but that's not why. Bhopal is.
He should have been cast as Surma Bhopali in Sholay. But, and I'm driving, and there's this big hoarding with Salman Khan holding a packet like this, Rajyasree, whatever, Elaichi or Pan, whatever
Ha.
it is.
You know,
So I was like, dude, I've come away from work on a break to Bhopal for some family thing. And
But
even
I'm always there.
Salman Khan and Rajyasree
I'm
are
always there.
cluttering the blue pristine skyline. So I took a picture and posted it.
I've also got some pictures of yours. I'm going to post those pictures
Okay, done.
with a funny caption even I can think of. Okay. But shall we do a letter first?
Let's.
We'll start with the ones from last week, which we didn't. There are few which we didn't read. Abhinandan Ekri has written, "Dear ANR, I think you should spin your reviews as a random element. It's very random because it's like a leap year. Maybe review the latest thing or something from Netflix years ago. Totally chaotic and unpredictable. I hope you haven't reviewed Jewel Thief, and if you did, I don't know what you ended up breaking your head or your laptop. It was a total brain killer. Sorry, R, but I think Saif is competing with his son for who can make the worst movie of the year. Don't be mean to his son, is the poor thing. On a better note, R, I think you'd really like the series when life gives you tangerines. I have to watch it. Someone else also told me. And the horror series Cough. No, horror series Cough is horrible. Niku, let's give it 5 to 8 years before you this thing. Your mention of Urvashi Rautela reminded me of the song Love Doors. And I'd recommend Softly by Karan Aujla.
So I love Softly, by the way. Love the band, as always. Regards, Abhinandan Ekri. I'm just curious, why did you put your name as Abhinandan Ekri? Is it a joke that I missed? But first of all, thank you for your support and all that. Rajyasree said Softly is a really good song, which I think I've recommended. It is Gal sun la ve, lok mere te hasde. Basically, she's saying, please dye
Please
my
hit me.
dupatta. Please dye my dupatta the same color as your
Turban.
Ferrari.
Punjabi women
Red.
are the best.
It's a beautiful song. It's lovely.
You must
And
be actually liking Urvashi Rautela. Now that I think of it.
because I like
You're
Punjabi
the type.
music.
Yeah, it's that type. I can imagine you on a date with Urvashi Rautela and you're listening to Punjabi music.
First of all, she is not Punjabi. So she wouldn't even understand Punjabi music. She's from the hills.
Setting is
So,
like that.
I just like to say we were having dinner at Rajyasree's house
And some mean thing you're going to say.
last night.
And this is what Abhinandan just picked up on matches and he just lit it across my arm. And I said, don't do that. We have a podcast.
So
But then
we got talking as usual because there were 3 Bengalis there and I was the only Punjabi. And started boasting about how much Bengal has given to the world, how much this. So I was quietly just eating my dinner. And after a while I said, can you just name me 5 Bengali artists? Or poets, or of course, on Gurudev's coattails, all Bengal is hanging and living till today. So they struggled with 1 or 2 names and then they stopped.
what nonsense.
I rattled off 5 Punjabis. And of course, they only mentioned men. Amrita Preetham, Amrita Shergill, Sahil Ludhianvi, Shiv Batalvi,
You're just
so that's
making up
around
names
Manto.
now.
These are making. You don't know who Shiv Batalvi is. Dear God.
We
You know who
just
Manto
didn't
is?
name. Yes.
So I named 7-8 Punjabis who have given us the best poetry, best literature, best art, best sculptures, So this myth that Punjab has not given, actually Punjab has given more as far as culture and literature is concerned than Bengal and Bangladesh put together. But we don't boast about it because we like having fun.
Because y'all are doing agriculture and horticulture. So y'all are not talking about deep culture. That's why.
So
Huh?
those of you who can rattle off 10 literary,
I'll tell you just now. Yesterday we were being nice to you.
Name?
Sharat Chandra, Bidyasagar, Rabindranath Tagore, Jamni Rai, then Rani Karna. No,
Now you're
I'm
making
giving
up
you
names.
singers, dancers and all
Shobha De.
also. Ravi Shankar. Ravi Shankar is what? Bong. Ashok Kumar, Kishore Kumar, all their family. Okay, Ashok Kumar, Kishore
Yash
Kumar.
Choda,
What
Karan
is the
Johar,
third Kumar? There's another
Dharmender,
Kumar.
Sunny Deol, Puppy Deol, Isha
Dharmendra's
Deol.
Instagram
Isha
is
Deol.
so scary. Isha Deol.
You
Full
see-
Deol family.
You see how you have to start
Suchitra Sen,
scraping.
Uttam Kumar, Rishikesh
One
Mukherjee.
second, if you're going to go into cinema, no, Punjab has built Bollywood.
But
it has
look what
built
they- that Sajid,
Bollywood is
Sajid
big-
Khan is from Punjab.
I don't know where he's from. Bollywood is because of Punjabis
But I'm not talking
and
about
Tamilians.
Bollywood.
And I'm
World
both.
cinema I'm
And
talking
I'm
about.
both.
I'm talking about world
Tamilians and Punjabis have built Bollywood.
I'm just saying, we don't want to boast. That's why we did not name names yesterday. But Narmata Khare has written, did you have to reveal who the jewel thief was? It was so much suspense, though. The only good things that could come out of this new show was that people would go and watch the original one, and Abhinandan, you gave it away. Oh, that jewel thief.
That jewel thief.
Terrible. So many fantastic songs from Raat Akeli Hai to Shalu. I couldn't believe the hero could choose Vaijayanti Mala over the gorgeous Tanuja though. So this thing, Tanuja is one of my favorite actresses.
And Vaijayanti Mala is one of my favorites. So, but that's also because she's probably bong, right?
She used to play golf, Vaijayanti Mala. I just wanted. This is random
Fine,
trivia
that's-
I can give you all.
Then Anonymous says, as someone working in the Indian film industry, I want to share this. Directors are deeply emotional about their work. The whole project runs on this energy and passion. A film's success or failure is personal to them. This drives great filmmakers. Without it, the lack of sincerity shows on screen. But emotional intelligence and openness to criticism are rare. Isn't this also true in journalism? Years ago, I worked on a film by a renowned senior director. I watched the first cut and perhaps naively told him I didn't like it. He could have fired me. Instead, he revised the edit. The film became a major box office success. Such secure directors are rare. Even today, he remembers me for speaking honestly. I'm not sure I'd have the guts to do it again. Lastly, I request that you also acknowledge the cinematographer. The visual storytelling you admire is our contribution to. Sincerely, cinematographer. So, absolutely, I completely agree with you. That kind of emotional intelligence, awareness and maturity and badappan. Badappan is showing a bigness that I can take criticism is very rare in directors. So congratulations, you worked with one. I completely agree. We should acknowledge cinematographers. We sometimes do. At least when I read the credits, I do.
No, we do say. Sometimes I give the wrong name for the cinematographer, but I mention
Okay.
that
I'm
the
sorry.
cinematography is very good.
I'm
Then I
s-
mention the director's name instead of the cinematographer.
But you're right on that. But you know, regarding what you said, isn't this true about journalists as well? Actually, I've said this on Hafta a few times. The problem with journalism in India, and many of these people are my friends, and it has been run by historically by very small,
Coterie of
entitled,
people.
coterie. These people are from a particular kind of background, and I admit I'm one of them. Of course, financially, I don't come from such a great background, but social access and this thing, they probably come from Doon, Vellum, these public schools, they all know each other. I mean, I got a job at News Track because of my connections, not because at 20, what the fuck can I go to Madhu and say, oh, hire me, I'm great. No, it's because I'm so and so's friend's
someone
brother or
knows
whatever.
someone.
So now that lot, so it's not because it's very personal. They're not used to criticism. They come from backgrounds where they're told you are wonderful, you deserve the access you have, you deserve the privilege you have. It has nothing to do with privilege. You are so good because you're brilliant, which you're not. So that personality type cannot take criticism. So whether they were chartered accountants or journalists or anything,
Whatever career.
that pomposity that they have would not be able to handle criticism no matter what they did. It's just that journalism is in the public. If they were CAs, it's not like everyone's seeing this. Oh, beautifully balanced book. No one sees it, so they don't care.
Maybe they are. How do we
but
know
if-
what C
but
is?
But if they are doing anything that is public facing, they can't handle criticism. I agree with you. So Rajyasree, I'll come to all the emails later. You tell us about The Royals, after telling me last week it's very bad, you have still wanted to review it. So now explain. I will do my bit. It is directed by Priyanka Ghosh and Nupur Asthana, starring Bhumi Pednekar, Ishan Khattar, Zeenat Aman, Sakshi Tanwar, Nora Fatehi, Vehan Samant, Dino Milind Soman. Oh, okay.
Luke Kenny.
My God, these are blasts from the past.
Yeah.
They returned. Yeah.
Many pasts.
And let me finish the credits.
Huh.
So it's created by Rangita Pritish Nandi and Ishita Pritish Nandi, written by Neha Veena Sharma and directed by Priyanka Ghosh and Nupur Asthana. And the cinematographer name is not given because it's a multi-camera setup. It's not one cinematographer the way conventional cinema is shot. So I guess that's why cinematographer. So that's why we are not naming, because IMD and the others don't have a cinematographer credit. So Rajyasree said, now that I've done my bit.
Yes, which was very important.
Which was to, now your bit was watching it and reviewing it.
Yeah. So it's an 8-episode series and everyone should watch it because it's so bad that it's not even good. Usually when it's really like Bollywood vibes.
You can do a cringe fest.
Yeah. This is really bad.
It's insipid bad. It's like cold tea.
No, also you have this lineup of like Milind Soman, Dino Moria, who's looking, I'm not a big Dino fan, but he's actually looking really nice. So it's set.
He always looked nice, but he's done a few films earlier which he was a shit actor.
Raz. He did Raz and something else. But no, I'm saying I'm not a fan of Dino. Like I prefer Milind Soman was really good looking.
Yeah,
As in I preferred his looks, but Dino is a good looking guy. That nobody can say he's not. But basically it's about the royals, a royal family in Rajasthan in a place called Morpur. And Ishan Khattar is playing one of the sons, and there's a daughter. There are basically 3 children. The father, Milind Soman, has died. And the father's wife was Sakshi Tanwar, who is from not Kyuki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi, the other one, Kahani Ghar Ghar Ki. She was the main woman in that, the main actress in that. So, and Zeenat Aman plays the Rajmata. Vehan Samat plays the brother, and Kavya Trehan, who I've seen before, plays the sister. And they've all come to Morpur. They all live in Morpur. This Ishan Khattar is playing one of those spoiled princes who travels the world, lives in New York, doesn't do anything to earn a living, and has lots of girlfriends. And he comes to Morpur because his father's will is to be read out. And at the same time, there's a parallel track that Bhumi Pednekar is the CEO of a PR, like a marketing agency, not a PR agency, an agency. And she basically decides to make a hospitality group which is going to have palaces in them as hotels, but the USP is that you will live with the royal family. All you see is the lives of these royals and how idiosyncratic and all they are, and how Bhumi Pednekar decides to make this into a hotel, and basically interactions with them and her romance with Ishan Khattar. So she basically, they show that a female CEO of a company is not only sleeping with the client, she's also sleeping with her colleague who's the CEO. And when she gets upset, like she says in the middle of her pitch and all, that I'm just not going to, like walking out of meetings and all, because that's how it rolls basically. And Sumukhi Suresh is there as her.
You don't have to give us the full story in detail. You can tell us the basic plot.
This is 1/50th of the story.
Oh dear God, okay.
So Sumukhi Suresh plays her assistant, and is very, like, quite funny. But it is such a badly scripted story that neither do you find them funny, nor do you find Zeenat Aman's character, which is supposed to be like those slightly out of touch with reality Maharanis, who is saying, where's my caviar, that kind of thing. That she seems cute or fun. She also cannot act at all which Zeenat Aman was never known for her
Yeah,
acting
correct.
prowess. So that has stayed constant. It has not improved over time. Milind Soman is there a lot, but in flashbacks because he's dead. But they have him as Ishan Khattar keeps remembering things, this thing. And there's a lot of LGBTQI. So the princess is gay, Milind Soman is gay, like everyone, quite a few people are gay in this thing, in the show. But it doesn't make sense. No royal family with such a large palace and with so many jewels and all that are bankrupt totally.
Well, you don't know. Of course they are.
No, bankrupt to the point where, but saying that we won't leave the palace, but we'll do it. So they are earning money, how? Like frauds, by doing a fashion show. I don't know what fashion show they've come across, but I know that you can't possibly be earning. And Abu Jani are there as the people who designed for the fashion show. So it's just very blah. It's very badly scripted. Ishan Khattar looks very nice because they have him without his shirt. So that is the hook. Any scene they can put him in without a shirt, he's without a shirt.
So a really good, I think, satirical take and observation commentary on the royals of India is done by Upmanyu Chatterjee in his last book, novellas, on which I interviewed him also, The Hush of the Uncaring. See, the last story, it's about one of these royals who goes to Oxford, Cambridge, whatever, and he comes back. It's really nicely written. He has an eye for stuff like that. Maybe they should make that into a film. It'll be more interesting then. But I'm a little disappointed with how Bhumi Pednekar,
Who has an identical twin.
she has an identical twin.
An identical twin.
Rumi.
So, Rumi and Bhumi. So you really can't make out. They
How
got
do
the
you
same
know?
hairstyle. Because I clearly have. I'm very observant. Because
Is this fact checked?
This is fact checked.
Rajyasree.
I did not get drunk and then looked at Bhumi and said, oh, I can see two of them must be twin. No, it's fact checked.
Okay. If it's fact checked, then
Yeah.
I'm not taking any
No,
responsibility for that bit of news. I have no knowledge of this. But she had done some really good cinema, and she even from now time to time does some great films and roles. But every now and then she does like that dance sequence with Arjun Kapoor. I forget the song. It was a remix of some old song. I don't even remember. So, but you're saying she's good in this. She's the redeeming factor.
No, I'm saying she's horrible in this. I'm saying it's worked in her favor. And Ishan Khattar, I don't think really needs to be too bothered about a hit or not. That everyone has logged on and watched the show. So the numbers have
Why?
gone up because it's so bad. Everyone trashed it. So everyone logged on. So Netflix it's like Bollywood vibes. They
So
are
I
very
haven't-
happy if you.
So I haven't done anything that.
But you'll watch, no?
Now I won't. Now I have
Now
good
you
reason.
won't.
It's done.
Bhumi Pednekar's twin sister's name is Samiksha Pednekar. She's a lawyer.
Very good. Okay.
They have very differing. No, but Bhumi used to be an excellent casting agent for this thing. Not for Dharma, the other production house, but it is so Nora Fatehi. Nora Fatehi
She's-
might be the best part of this.
Oh, really?
So she plays a princess. And whose father is that guy, Ali Khan. Ali Khan, na? That guy.
Oh, back from
Who's always like a villain,
with
slightly.
big eyes.
So,
he played Lakshman in Amir Raza Hussain's Ramayana here.
I watched it.
You must have been like 12.
No. Yeah, I was 12 and I watched it and the seats moved, remember?
The whole platform. Yes, I remember because I was in college. I was an adult.
So I'm the same age as you were. I just look 12 years younger.
So you're the same age as me, but you were 12. Why you? So I got like quadruple promotion. I had reached college at the age
You
of 12.
were a genius. Absolutely. That I tell you every time I meet you, you tell me I'm a genius. Then I tell you you're a genius because it
Great.
makes you feel better.
आप review कीजिए madam.
हाँ. But Nora Fatehi is basically Ali Khan is trying to do a royal marriage between Ishan and this thing. But she is actually quite good because you also have maybe expectations from Nora Fatehi are less as well. But this Zeenat Aman is just so disappointing. And Luke Kenny, I think, just he comes and does 5-minute roles where he's you watch it because he's
Right.
VJ. But there's going to be a season 2. So
Okay.
there's
so
a twist in the
we
tale.
will then not watch it then.
So I'm sorry. That's me laughing. Why?
Okay.
Right? You're used to women only laughing doing like that. Never trust someone who laughs like that. Just
So, so another email. This is from Sneha Hukmani. Hi Sneha. Sneha says, hello, I was unsure where to send this letter, but I settled for A&A. I guess because she didn't know where to send for Hafta or Full Awesome.
yeah.
For starters, you're
Y'all are
swamped
swamped.
with mail on Hafta. Secondly, this is about pop culture. On Hafta, Abhinandan mentioned NL viewership as being between 25 and 50 years and largely male. I feel you need to curate content that would rope in teenagers and young adults. Nobody's talking sense to them, not even their parents. Take a leaf out of the current government's playbook in trying to impose their belief system via schools and colleges. The brainwashing can only be resisted by thoughtful counterculture. The same effort is needed for engaging more women. Perhaps a podcast talking about women's problems, experiences, their solutions for a country's issues. I would like to recommend a show that is relevant to both these cohorts. It's brilliant and funny. It's called We Are Lady Parts. Okay, sounds interesting.
This one's, no? Is it not?
So, Sneha, I agree with you on the bit that we can do stuff that, by the way, out of all the stuff that News Laundry produces, the only one that has a demographic where more women listen and watch than men is this podcast.
Really? It must be you, Abhinandan. You are
No,
not.
I'm on
but
Hafta
they are-
also.
No, but there are others who are overshadowing.
Right.
Only one person. here.
So, but the bit about school kids and college kids, I mean, I would like to give this a little more thought because you have made a very convincing case. But whenever I go and am invited as a keynote speaker or something or the other at these colleges and schools, my recommendation to them is don't consume news till you are like, unless you're taking a UPSC exam or anything, because I don't think anything good will come out of it. You know, consume sports, consume even pop culture, so political and propaganda-ish. But, you know, consume junk, think about it, read books. But I actually discourage kids from consuming news. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad, but that's what I've been saying. So in case one video of mine pops up at some lecture at some school and I'm saying, when some child asks me, where should we get our news? I say, don't consume news. It'll do you no good. Enjoy life. Go out, play a sport, fly a kite. So that's what my position has been so far. I know you would probably think that's a very irresponsible thing to do. But that's been my position. That's all I'm saying.
So I feel when we were growing up, we
You
were
still are,
told,
Rajyasree.
always evolving. We were told to read newspapers to improve our writing skills and language skills and
Did it
so
help?
on. But now you can't read newspapers because they are written. The English is so terrible, and but I do think I think you should not consume news, but you should know what is happening in current affairs, because sometimes I meet kids and you'll see something like you'll say, "Oh, what's happening in Israel is," and they look at you like, what are you talking about? So you should know what is happening. You don't have to consume the way adults consume. Even I don't
But
consume
how will
news,
they
I
know that? You know, the thing is that I'll give you an example of today's newspaper. I just think that sure, you should have a certain awareness of the world you live in, even if you're young. And, you know, pop culture is one way of knowing what's happening. But today's newspaper has a report of a Dalit woman, 45-year-old, who was raped and died. And they had described how she was brutalized. Not in detail, but
But they had.
I would not want any child to read that. And it was on the front page. Now, it's no one's fault. I think that report should not have been on the front page, should have been a headline.
Yeah.
I think the reason it got a side little thing is because she was Dalit and in a village. Had this happened, and I'm not doing competitive brutality. I'm just saying there is a certain hierarchy of how things are. I don't see what good comes if a child has to read that report. So, which is why I don't encourage children to read the newspaper. I tell them to go to the last page, read the sports page, and then read a book. So that's the reason I think, and it's no one's fault. News must report all this. But do children have to read it?
No. Also, I do think that because this is something that did happen in newspapers and newspapers primarily after the December 16th gang rape that had happened, it became a beat that, you know, someone was assigned to police stations to check what rapes have happened and so on. The reporting on rapes went up. So that I agree that when you open the paper, even when I'm reading it, it's like rape, 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 murder, 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 rape, murder. And then there's some news on Modi has gone somewhere in his new car. But I still think that you should be, when I'm saying current affairs, but then how do they select what is like, how will you read something?
Yeah, but I think that's entirely up to the parents or the guardians with the where the child grows up, and that a platform cannot kind of provide that, in the sense that we've had interns here, Rajyasree, and you've seen, we've had some interns, in fact one who was in class 11 when he started coming to us. The guy knew more about what's happening in Ukraine and Russia and what is NATO. He knew more than some postgrads who've come. You can't explain why that kid knows more. Probably he, in his home, they discuss this or whatever else it is. So, but yeah, I think let's
But
get
I
back
do
to one
think
moment.
that everyone, adults and children, read fiction. This thing of not reading fiction.
So then we can just have a print version of Awful and Awesome and all the news you give, and that...
Whatever. That also is fine. But read that then.
Now, before Rajyasree tells us about Flintoff and why she suggested we should review it, Namrata says, "Hi Abhinandan and Rajyasree, love this podcast for the wonderful camaraderie you both have. There are a couple of Malayalam movies I wanted to recommend. Thudurum, Kadal. I think Kadal is... I think if it's a Malayalam word, it probably means the core. But in Tamil, Kadal means love, right? Kadalan, lover.
That's
Correct
it.
me if
I
I'm
don't
wrong.
know.
Yeah. Then Kishkinda Kandam. All three touch upon different issues. The last one is more mystery than social commentary. I found these movies watchable mainly because they treat their audience with respect and don't explain every single action or emotion of the character. It's sad a lot of Bollywood films just assume the audience needs to be spoon-fed. Thudarum would fit into the mold of a mass movie where it's one man against the world, but despite that, the movie does justice to the theme. I wonder how we can make people appreciate better cinema which isn't highbrow than what Bollywood is churning out. Namrata, that's... very few films can actually strike that balance, which are massy and yet are good cinema. But for our audience, Namrata has recommended 3 Malayalam films: Thudurum, Kadal the Core, and Kishkinda Kandam.
And both this, I know at least that Kadal and Kishkinda Kandam are online on Amazon or somewhere because I've seen the posters.
Right. You want to read a couple of mails before you tell us about Flintoff?
Anonymous has written, I really hope you discuss the royal soon. See, that's
Discussed?
why.
Oh,
What the people
Anonymous
want.
worked on the show.
Yeah, I worked on the show, and as someone who was present every day of the shoot and deeply involved in the production, I can't wait for you guys to dismember it. When I first read the script and all through the shoot, I didn't have much hope for it. Now, when I watched it a year later, I actually enjoyed it. Maybe you have Stockholm Syndrome. The start was weak, but for me, it picked up once we get to Morpur. It was difficult to get through the last 2 episodes, and I felt some plot lines should have been flushed out a lot more. Waiting to hear what you guys have to say. P.S. I can write a whole other letter about shooting with Bhumi's lips. So her lips have been Botox so much that it's...
This is fake news or it's...
No,
it's confirmed.
It's confirmed, and now she's started addressing the criticism also, because it's... if you get whatever, even if you get collagen put, sometimes people overdo it and sometimes it doesn't settle. It has to settle also and become a little flatter. So it's very
So if you also need cosmetic surgery advice, Dr. Sen, who is an expert in everything, can tell you how it settles. So it's like cement. Madam, settle नहीं हुआ, दूसरा अभी paint नहीं करना, अभी थोड़ा settle होने दो. It's like that.
It's like that only. You don't know anything.
So basically...
you know nothing.
Kirpal Mistry and are doing same job. And Kirpal Mistry is doing...
If he's using gel in his work then second Anonymous has
No, but
written...
first Anonymous, do write to me at abhinandansekri@gmail.com and tell me what exactly you did for the film. Trust me, we get a lot of information from very serious political functionaries. So we maintain very strict confidentiality. I will not go tell anyone. I'm just curious what department you worked in.
Yeah. So, hello, Abhinandan and Rajyasree. Just wanted to say that I recently subscribed to News Laundry because I wanted to keep news free. But let me just put it out there that your show and Nuisance were the only two shows podcasts that pushed me to take that decision. I know that once Abhinandan mentioned in an episode that he might stop the show if it didn't pull enough subscribers. I think it's safe to say that's not the case. I always look forward to your episodes and the banter that it comes with. Keep up the great work, folks. Thank you.
Thank you, Anonymous. Appreciate it. But yes, after I said that, suddenly a lot of you started subscribing to Awful and Awesome. But before that, not
Because
many
they
people
were
did.
like, you would learn that kind of when dad say, if you don't do this, then I'll take away, you won't get ice cream for the week. Then you start doing it.
So we are ice cream.
We
See,
are
that's
ice
frivolous.
cream.
So had you actually believed that this show provides serious journalism, you said we are the
What? The matka. that
Dol
you're getting.
Bhoth. What do you say? Dol Bhoth. How do you call it in Bengal? Dol Bhoth.
I don't know what the dal bhat.
Achha, now it's Dal Bhat.
It's
Dol
dal
Bhoth.
bhat. No one's
Is it Dol Bhoth? Okay, so Rajyasree said. But yeah, thank you so much. Here's a QR code again. Those of you who haven't subscribed,
Tell your friends also.
yeah, please tell your friends also to subscribe. It's not very much. It's less than what you would spend on probably,
Film ticket.
not even a film ticket. On one non-alcoholic beverage, you'll be spending this much.
Non-alcoholic.
So, Rajyasree sir, now tell me documentary Flintoff. Before you tell us about the credits, who made it, with cinematography, I hope you'll tell us that.
Of course.
Can you tell me
Let me quickly find out.
Why did you choose it? I'll find that out, but meanwhile you tell me why did you choose it?
Because I'm interested in Freddie Flintoff, Andrew Flintoff. So I don't follow cricket, but I think it should be, you should be aware. So he was this very well-known English cricketer. He was almost like a prodigy in the sense that he was, but a lot of sports stars start off very young. He was also very good looking. And after his cricket career sort of started taking a downturn, he joined Top Gear.
Top Gear?
Top Gear. And he had this horrible accident, which I remember, where his face got ripped off.
The cricketers?
The cricketers. Flintoff, Freddie Flintoff.
Oh.
So he was one of the top Gear presenters.
Okay.
Like he was really popular and he was very good
So
at
in an
what he
auto
did.
accident, he had a horrible accident. Okay.
Yeah, so he was driving one of their cars and the car turned. So you see a bit of the footage and he explains it also. He says, I realized that there were two ways I could fall. So I could fall on my head, but then maybe I'd have a
Hemorrhage or
concussion and a
something.
hemorrhage. And
Or on
just,
his face.
Or I could fall face down. And he fell face down, but the car pulled him, like by the time it stopped. Anyway, his face basically pretty much came off. And he's such a good looking man. So for around a year, you didn't see Freddie Flintoff. And then he made...
A comeback.
No, he made a public appearance. He came back as one of the coaches of the cricket team. And then he started presenting again and all. But he's a very young guy. I don't think Freddie Flintoff. So this is directed by John Dower. And I will check Freddie's age, but I think he would be... And it's just that when you think that someone 47, he's my age, a little younger. I just found it, I find when sports stars and athletes and all have, even when Schumacher's we'll never see him again because the family has just got a full media embargo, all that, and he's, God knows what state he's in. So even this guy, when it happened, it was so shocking, that accident that happened. And the fact that it was his face that got, so even like the scars are terrible, what you see. And he's had massive reconstruction, like his teeth came out, part of his jaw came out, all that. So I just find it fascinating when people go through something so gruesome and brutal to be able to pull yourself out of it. However tough it is, and not even reinvent. He's gone back to quite a few of the things that he was doing, which is coaching, cricket and all. So that's why.
So I guess that's why they made a documentary. So I think it's, again, I'm not giving any value judgment, but I think it's, like you said, it's this is a formula that really works. Someone who is famous at the top of their game, something horrible happens to them and they kind of pull through and recover. So, and because a lot of public, facing individuals or celebrities, there's a lot of footage available. Like, for example, this story could be true for hundreds of people, but there is no footage of those people. Like that whole Tiger King, that thing that went viral. I mean, that story became such a major Netflix or wherever it was because there was so much footage of that. There are many bizarre stories, but there's no footage. Like, for example, Christopher Reeve.
Yeah.
Same thing. So this whole, and I don't mean formula in a frivolous or in a negative connotation. I just mean it works cinematically. And therefore, that is being replicated for any celebrity or big sports person who has had a horrible experience, a life-altering experience, and then kind of building up from there. So this kind of seems to fall into that category.
Also, he started documenting his journey, recovery from the time he had that accident. Means once he became he said, I was near depression. And so there's footage of which is like clearly shot very well. Not more than shot very well, as in it's in the doctor's office. It's that kind of stuff. And he's on camera talking because he's the one who's given
the narration
and the access. The other thing that makes it compelling is there are a lot of very well-known, not just cricketers. There are like James Corden, Jack Whitehall, people who are from the British entertainment sector, who are big celebrities, who are friends of his, who are... So there's a lot of people, like people talking about it. Top Gear, I think, must be having some sort of... some legal thing where they don't interview anyone from Top Gear, but the show pretty much stopped the UK one when this happened because it was such a horrific accident that had happened. And he also doesn't really trash Top Gear, but he does say that I kept pushing myself to... I would do very risky things. But when you're young and fit, you don't
Are you
think.
Suggesting that they should blame the show for that? I mean...
They didn't have the safety restrictions in place. So that they do say that something could go so wrong was not... But Top Gear, when you used to watch, the way I've seen the one with Matt LeBlanc, where... when
but complete that thought. They did not have what?
They did not have those safety checks done on how this can go wrong.
I mean, if you're doing a show about high-speed cars, the worst can happen. Yeah, I mean, that's a given for an even adult. I mean, it's not like... I'm just saying that not wearing a seatbelt is carelessness and it should be checked. But not knowing the outcome of a high-speed car crash is something that I guess... I mean, anyone would know what
So
the
maybe that's why they don't... he doesn't really trash Top Gear at all. And he says, I kept putting, like, through my life, I like doing risky things. But that this would happen is not... Obviously, you don't think that your face is going to come off and you're not going to be...
So would you recommend it or not?
Yeah, it's a fabulous watch. And anyone who's
So it has nothing to do with cricket?
No, it's very little to do with cricket. No, but it has his career, because he had a few ups and downs in his career also. But it's a very tight documentary. It's 1 hour, 20 minutes, I think. And also he's a very... like he's one of those people who...
Good narrator. He can hold your attention.
And he holds your attention, which is why he was such a good presenter also, I suppose, in his career. But, and I've seen him in that show, which I watch, A League of Their Own, which is the British sports, game show, which has Jamie Redknapp, who you don't think of very highly, but it has Jamie. You don't know who he is? Jamie Redknapp, Louis Redknapp's son, whatever that Redknapp's son is.
Bhim Singh Vald, Darshat Singh Vald.
You know.
How do I know?
Because you've told me his father was an ass and he's only become a footballer because his father, Harry Redknapp.
I've never heard this person.
You don't know Harry Redknapp, the footballer.
Oh, this guy. Yeah, I know who he is. But I didn't say anything about his son.
You forgot it. You did.
I have never said anything.
You have.
I know what I said. Anyway, so on that note, we will now wind up the other emails. One is from Gurman. By the way, we only entertain the emails of subscribers. So you can mail us at podcasts@newslaundry.com. I repeat, podcasts@newslaundry.com. And you can tell us what you like, dislike, what we should do differently or not do differently, or give recommendations like some of our wonderful subscribers give to enrich the lives of the rest, because clearly I cannot give many recommendations because I don't discover anything. Gurman says, if I'm not mistaken, there are gamers in your midst. Yes?
Correct.
I don't know what gamers, but there is one hardcore, like, what's the word I'm looking for? A hardcore...
Gamer. Is that the
Shardul.
word you're looking?
Shardul is a gamer.
And he's come on the show to discuss one of these.
Video games have the capacity to be profound with the variety of settings they're in, like a capitalist dystopia, modern warfare, medieval fantasy. They are able to explore a range of stories where you are basically enacting a first-hand account. What I'm trying to say is, talk about video games too. A video game is just as much art as a movie, TV show, or book. Yes, in fact, Shardul has said this. Fanatic. That's the word I'm looking for.
Fanatic.
He's a gaming fanatic. Yes, I agree with you, Gurman. It's just that I think I'm past the age where it can hold my attention. Even the most basic games can't hold my attention. But maybe we should have some younger people to review games here. But did you know, Rajyasree Sen, the gaming industry in the worldwide is, I'll just pull out the numbers, but it is way bigger than Hollywood.
Yeah, so I have my only insights into gaming are that you should not play those video games, where people from all over the world play, because there are all sorts of stalkers and pedophiles and all. So I have a very grim view of everything. But did you play a Prince of Persia when you were young?
Yeah, but I
so
played that one
also.
where you had to do one, he leaps, then picks up the
Yeah.
sword. These usually very boring games. Then Rohini says, just want to write in and tell you guys that your podcast has kept me sane and happy for the past 2 months while I've been living alone in a foreign country, away from friends, family, and all things familiar. I think I made my way through over 50 episodes in this time and felt like I always had a familiar voice in my ear through a fairly lonely period. Rohini, I'm glad nutters like us have
We've
kept
been
you
your
sane.
dodgy friend.
We've been your dodgy friends keeping you sane. But do spend some time in silence also. Let your thoughts do their thing, even if they are disturbing. Some very good and creative stuff comes out of loneliness, I can tell you from experience. So you must subject yourself to some loneliness. It's very good for you.
Balkrishna and Ramdev are saying this only, na?
What?
They created Patanjali out of loneliness. That idea must have come. Let's create something.
This keeps you sane, Rohini. Kuch to sharam karo. How can this keep you sane? Rajyasree Sen, you can read the other two.
Rakhi has written, Dear Abhinandan and Rajyasree, love your friendly, carefree banter, much needed in today's crazy, depressing times. I have a query, but not sure if it is misplaced to be discussed in A&E. I'm a millennial, a bit old school, and grew up listening to Hindi film songs, old and new. And for me, song lyrics would get automatically memorized without the need of writing.
Same.
From around 2010 onwards, though, I have noticed a drastic drop in volume and quality, probably less than half a dozen memorable songs over a decade. True that we need to move with the times, but I feel there's still an audience for such music. So would like to understand from you, why doesn't the industry address this emotional void? Why not capitalize on this unique musical feature of Hindi or broadly Indian movies? Isn't there any tangible benefit to the industry anymore with cassettes and CD era gone?
So, Rakhi, I haven't really done a deep dive on this, but I mean, I have some experience in the entertainment industry. Music rights were a very big part of the revenue that a film used to earn, at least in India. Now it's not so much that as a revenue generator as it is, it gives the movie buzz. It is a great publicity or a marketing device rather than a revenue center, which is why I think the kind of attention given to music, in fact, we'd recommended it here or in Hafta. There was a piece, I forget in which magazine, in which platform, where the prescribed musical, A.R. Rahman I think had said, or someone, that directors say that give us a 30-second catchy bit or 20-second catchy bit, they're not even looking at a really long catchy song.
Not
they're not
sure
look-
you didn't say.
because that will create buzz on Insta, this 10, 20, 30-second, and that will generate too buzz about the film. So the song for the song's sake is, I think, gone in just how the entire economic model is structured now. That's my understanding. Could be wrong.
Why
Yes.
Preetham still making music for the new Life in a Metro? Not new. The sequel is going to be out. Izaz Ilahi has written, I fully support Abhinandan in ignoring the films and shows because now every Tom, Dick and Harry is somehow making one. I recently watched The Royals on Netflix and I have been cursing myself from the moment I finished watching it. I think Zeenat Aman is trying to fit in, which is horrible. The whole series is seen from the sex point of view and there's no proper story. I have cancelled my Netflix subscription because it is just a waste of money now. It is very extreme, I must say. Cancel the thing. In episode 386, Rajyasree compared Saif to Christian Bale. I didn't compare. I said he's supposed to be the Christian Bale character. And my ears are bleeding now. How can you do this, Rajyasree? If you also, he's given me a tip, culinary trip. This I know, but if you can't find Shan Masala, try National Masala. This is true. So I'll also tell you, National Masala doesn't have the subtlety of Shan, although both are from Pakistan.
Okay.
Okay. And Sushmita recently got cornered when she said there are no borders for artists. Sushmita Sen said this.
You
so
would
many
know.
things she's saying. What is your take on that?
I mean, it's that line doesn't really mean anything in my view. Is as of course there are borders for artists, but who's consuming there are no borders. But I mean, in what context?
It must be in this India Pakistan.
Yeah, but they need visas. I mean, it's complicated. I don't want to get into it right now, but it's a line that doesn't really mean anything specific, stripped of context.
Abhinandan.
One more pop song from the
I'm
80s,
choking,
please.
so I can't say this. One more pop song.
You want one more pop song from the 80s? Okay, I'll give you when we're ending this podcast.
Have a wonderful time ahead. We were till that one more pop song from the 80s started. Do you like that song? It's not from the 80s. It's a whole old Hindi film song. Ajeeb Taasta hai ye.
No,
I can sing it.
If the audience wants you to, please do. But I've heard you sing, so I.
Do you like that song from Sagar? Sagar Kinare.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, I can sing that also. No?
But I don't think Ijaz asked you to sing a song.
Okay, then you can recommend whatever you want.
No, Ijaz, next time I'll sing a song. But today actually I had come wanting to
Prepared.
prepared because I hadn't watched anything. I said I must come with something. So this lovely Punjabi song, it's not new, that I had kind of stumbled upon, which I really liked and I've been listening to on loop for a long time. Again, the problem with a lot of these songs is that they are
Misogynist.
yeah,
They are
slightly. Yeah, they are. But they just have. I love the vibe. I love the mood. It's called Patiala Flow. And this is what it sounds like. You know what I like about Punjabi
Who's
music?
sung this? Karan Aujla.
No, Parmesh Verma. And
Oh, wow.
I just love the self-confidence in Punjabi music. You know, it's like, I don't give a shit. They're just so self-confident. And they have
It sounds like a string of abuses.
no, it's not. And they use English words very liberally. Sadi dominance dekh ke.
Oh, is that dominance?
So it sounds like Punjabi, but there's a lot of English also.
But what did these two lines mean?
That basically we roll our mustaches, we establish dominance. Usual shit, you know, nothing.
So I love Punjabi men.
It's the same shit.
So classy.
Every song is saying the same shit.
Badshah is Punjabi.
First of all, do not throw in Badshah with all these people. Badshah is a...
Child.
Yeah, he's basically, if you're talking about Sahir Ludhianvi or Shiv Batalvi or, you know, Amrita Pritam, and then you say, can we also talk about...
Who?
I don't know.
Chetu. No.
No, some other, some Tucha lyricist from today. That guy who, I've forgotten his name, he keeps giving these
basically.
dumb, yeah. So that is, Badshah's not in this league. Badshah's for Bollywood. Sanu ek Punjabi gana chaida sadi film che liye the jo Badshah tusi bana do, to he'll bana.
But Diljit
But
also
these
does.
guys
Huh.
are like really good Punjabi music. So that Shair Patiale, it's called.
Okay.
On that note, Rajyasree, we must
say.
thank our audience, those who are subscribing and contributing to
Yes.
pay to keep news free. We must thank our sound recordist, Anil. We must thank our producer, Priyali. And we must thank Rohini, who has given us so much of confidence that no matter what our level of sanity, we are helping others remain
Yeah.
sane.
It's
Ours is
fabulous.
questionable. Matlab, ours is
Yeah.
dodgy.
It's okay. As long as someone is getting some happiness from us. That is what matters.
That's the beauty, Rajyasree beauty.
Sri Rajyasree has spoken.
Sri Rajyasree. That's a good one. You should
Nah?
call yourself Sri Rajyasree.
Yeah, so that I get lynched outside by some.
Thank you, Miss Sen.
Thank you, Mr. Sekshi.
And it's a wrap.